I'm joined here by Al Altomari, the chairman and CEO of Agile Therapeutics. Al, it's great to have you joining us. How are you?
Thanks, Michael. Great.
Pleasure to have you here. Very excited to get started. Let's start off with a high-level overview of Agile Therapeutics. What does the company do? Why does the company exist? And what is it all about?
Sure. Agile Therapeutics is a women's healthcare company. So think of us as a fully integrated company. I'm really pleased to say we got to the promised land. We're actually a commercial stage company. We got our first product approved, and we've been selling product for the last couple of years, but we're here to serve the needs of women. And in our case, our first product's a contraceptive patch, an alternative to birth control pills. And hopefully that's the first of many products for the company.
Got it. Okay, so looking at the product side, how big is the addressable market for these products when you're looking ahead at the future here?
Sure. I mean, the contraceptive market in the U.S. alone is for over $5 billion in the addressable part that we're up against. But, right now the predominant player in the marketplace has been birth control pills. And there's been a number of innovations, for instance, like IUDs, where it's a very invasive form of, contraception for women. So we have a once a week contraceptive patch for an alternative to birth control for those women that aren't really ready to sign up for a more invasive method. So, we think we've hit a major unmet need in the marketplace, and we're excited. I should also say our product has a low dose of hormones, which is also very critical for women and their providers. So we think we have a great product that fit into a very big market in the United States.
Terrific. Okay, and how is the product performing overall? Can you give us a feel for how the product is reacting and performing with the user base that it's going to?
Yeah, it's exciting times. I would say, last couple quarters in particular, just a level set. We launched the product in, beginning of last year in the middle of something called COVID. So, the product, we deployed our first sales forces. And if you can go back to those points of time of trying to imagine what it's like getting a sales rep in front of a doctor's office that was probably closed or limited in number of patients. So, we got the job done though. So probably 2 months in the, last year, 2 quarters into last year, say the mid of last year, we started seeing the product pick up a head of steam as the environment got better. We got in front of more doctors. We've been on a nice ride ever since then. So just give you an example, in 2022, quarter on quarter growth was looking at 25-30% in volume quarter on quarter. And we signaled at our most recent conference that we expect the third quarter to be a heck of a lot bigger than that. So I can't get into it in a lot more details, but you'll see coming soon that we had a pretty appreciable step up in volume. So we were on a nice run, and the third quarter, it looks like we had a pretty big inflection point right now in volume and growth. And we've been working hard at this, so we're pleased. We're not shocked. It's something we've been working hard at.
That's great. Obviously, a lot of confidence in this moving forward. And which metrics should investors be keeping an eye on to track your growth as we move forward into Q4?
Yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, what hits the cash register is what matters, right? I mean, we sell what we call a cycle, which is a month of contraception, just like a woman's menstrual cycle. So we sell a box with 3 patches in it. It's a once a week patch. So a woman wears our patch once a week. So she wears a total of 3 patches and then goes patch free and has her menstrual cycle. So that's the sellable unit, a box of 3. That's a cycle. That's all that matters. So what investors should look at is how many cycles did I sell this quarter versus last quarter? And that's the metric going forward, because, we're getting this volume from 2 different sources now. And so in the retail channel, we used to look at prescriptions, how many prescriptions doctors write. But in this institutional channel, it's more like a hospital. They just buy product from us. The common denominator is cycles. So the language we're going to use going forward is sellable cycles. That's all investors want to know. What hit the cash register? Cycles. That's all you want to know. How many cycles did I sell?
Understood. And then you mentioned your earnings report coming up in Q3. With this season kicking off, what should we expect to hear or see? Anything significant from when Agile is going to come in and report?
Yeah, I think it's, a bit of the holy grail of biotech. I mean, you're going to hear big growth. You're going to hear, growth that was bigger than the trend line we were on, which was about 25 to 27%. So you're going to hear a bigger number than that on sellable cycles. Let's go back to what I just said. The second thing you're going to hear, we've been, talking for the last couple of quarters that we've reduced our operating expenses, the burn of the company, for a lot of reasons. One is I think we figured out, a very efficient playbook, how to deploy our capital in the right places. So we've been stepping down our operating burn, and you should hear a continuation of that. We've made some major step downs the last couple quarters. So, we're going to continue to try to come down, but it's said differently. Investors should know it's not coming back up. We are on the journey to stabilize our burn and to see if we can continue to take it down. So we're spending less money, growing the business as big as ever. And we're doing it through partnerships. We're not adding people to staff. We're not increasing the overhead of the company. And in fact, yet a couple of days ago, I announced the restructuring of my management team and leaned that up a little bit. So we're working smarter. We're working smarter with investors' money, and we're growing the business at a bigger clip than ever. And it's through partnerships, through people that can augment our. We don't have to put burn on this company to grow this business. And that's the story we'll tell investors, and we're proud to tell it. And we're proud to talk about some of these big initiatives: the Planned Parenthood initiative, the CTV initiative, and NEURX, and the good work that our sales forces and marketing people do every day of the week. That we shouldn't lose sight of that, our kind of our core strength. That's the story, and I'm going to stick with it. That's what I'm looking forward to telling in the third quarter.
Amazing. Okay, and as a final look here, as a company as Agile is, without regulatory risk and FDA approval complete, any catalysts or upside opportunities looking from that perspective ahead?
Yeah, I think the big one, for those that have been following the contraceptive, besides the Roe v. Wade decision, which was, a big decision in this country, the Affordable Care Act was supposed to grant access that women get all forms of contraception with no copays, which would have been great and should have been great for a company like us and some of the other innovative young companies like Agile. Unfortunately, the insurance companies and their PBMs haven't been following the law as intended. So, this has been a concerted effort. It doesn't impact just Agile. It impacts big drugs, little drugs. It hurts us all. Women are not getting access to brands the way the law was intended. So this has been a battle. It's made its way to the White House. You saw Secretary Becerra and Biden, the president, announce, some reforms in this area, but it's quite not fixed yet. So one of the major catalysts for us is if this gets, in the system the way it's intended, could potentially be a wild upside on the retail business. But I made a commitment to our shareholders that I'm not waiting for the federal government to help me. I'm going to build a profitable business, thrown off cash, and hopefully our goal is to have it by the end of next year, with or without the federal government. We are not going to, sit back and wait for, the federal government to help us. We're going to build a model without them. If that comes, it could be a wild catalyst upside. So I think that's it. And then I think the other catalysts, quite frankly, are good sales growth. Our quarterly results are going to be the catalyst for this company, that we can stay on this curve and get to our ultimate goal of sustainability.
Got it. It's been outstanding learning more about Agile. Al Altomari, the chairman and CEO of Agile Therapeutics, thank you for joining us and looking forward to seeing what comes up here in Q4.
Thank you, Michael. Appreciate it.